the story of my Whelen 8000 series wrecker style light bar. I was browsing the internet because I felt like I didn't have enough light bars already and I needed more. And really, all I was finding was the standard sort of listings that made me very sad. And I came across a couple wrecker bars and I realized I kind of wanted a wrecker bar. I didn't have any, but they were all again this. And then I came across this, and a couple things interested me. One, it looked like it had pictures of an 8000 series, and two, it used the word super strobe, which it didn't look like. So I started thinking to myself, okay, at least this isn't the standard awful wrecker bar. And then I remembered that they actually called the 8000 series the super strobe bar sometimes. So maybe there's something to this. But then I started thinking, the last two light bars I ordered on any online site showed up like this. But then I remembered how cool the guy looked in the catalog rendering aid behind the tow truck. And I thought, man, I kind of want this. Is it a real option, though, or is this going to be cobbled together? So I started looking through the different models, and there isn't a wrecker model for the bar. Well, what about options? I know there's internal alley lights. They definitely exist. I have some. They're listed as one of the few options that remain throughout the whole tenure. And then I remembered there are fog lights, like the listing said, that they actually encouraged you to use on the outside of your light bar. In fact, in their very yellow tinted advertisement, they showed a set of external alley lights on an 8000 series. So maybe there's something to this. And I guess at worst it was going to end up like this, another frame in storage. So this is what it actually got turned into. I did have to buy another set of vintage stop tail turn lights because the ones on it were broken, which really weren't that expensive. And I ended up having to buy the domes. The domes you see on it here are not the domes it showed up with. It showed up with no domes as promised. It also showed up with more splices than an original reel-to-reel copy of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. A lot of wiring splices, which I took care of. But it did have the promised stop tail turn option sort of there. The promised fog light option as a work light definitely was still there. And it did have alley lights internally. It took me a very long time to find proper domes because finding amber domes with alley light cutouts and no other cutouts isn't really that easy. But I did find them eventually, and I ended up restoring the bar into this, which the options on, I think, make a fairly convincing wrecker bar, and the external mounts for the floodlight and the brake tail turns were already there. And it just so happened that I was able to find a pair of replacement domes where the Super Strobe label on the 8000 series dome was still visible. So that was kind of a funny throwback to the original listing. The mounts for the floodlight and brake lights didn't look too homemade, and the alley lights were definitely original. The bar has a mid-series set of pie pan strobe supplies. Well, one supply and one dumb head, if you will, or one slave. It's not the end of the run edge supply style, but it's not the very, very, very first ones. Somewhere in the middle. I put this bar somewhere in the early 80s. Probably 85, I would guess. I could be wrong. It also could be more cobbled together than I think. I do think that the mounts that the outside components are on, if they are homemade, then they look very, very similar to the ones that I have pulled off of other bars that use them for alley lights. As far as where they had put the brake tail turn lights. At first I thought it was a terrible spot, but when you really look at it, it's right between the actual strobe 360 diffuser and where the cascade mirror begins. So really it is in kind of a dead spot of the light, and also it is spread out enough that you can tell them apart, but it's not so spread out that it's blocking the 360 flash. So I guess I'm kind of happy with that. I don't have those lights on an actual flasher or set up as actual brake lights through any mechanism other than just touching them to power. But you can see how this might have been used on a tow truck. I really like to think it was used on a tow truck. That's what it was listed as, and the mounting options lead me to believe it had a rear floodlight and rear brake tail turn light, so I hope so. It does have the later style internal diffusers, although a lot of the bars do. There's 3 basic styles: the flying saucer, the two-piece, meaning there's a top circle that holds it together, and then this later one that is more indicative of like the actual super strobe. But the timelines on those, the first 2 didn't last very long. So this is a pretty common type of diffuser to have in a 8000 series bar. The power supply seems to be working quite well. It didn't require a whole lot. The wiring was really the big issue. And it's not that it was wrong or non-factory. It was just there were spots where it looked like maybe it had sun degraded or broken, and they had just spliced in other wires. And in order to get their brake tail turn lights working, they had bypassed the original harness and ran a set of trailer wire to them externally, which was kind of funny because the original harness did seem to exist in a way that would have run separate high function for brake and turn and combined low function for running light or tail light function. So it was probably very unnecessary to run brake light cable to it, but I'm guessing that there was a problem with that original cable, or they wanted to hook into their existing rear brake tail turn lights at a different spot where they didn't run the light bar cable to. So the easiest thing to do was just to run some trailer brake cable straight to the brake tail turn lights, which got rid of that. As far as components, lenses, options, orientation of everything on this light bar, the front of this bar is the rear of this bar. This bar had no speaker in it. The only thing I've ever seen in the speaker area of a wrecker bar is a reverse alarm. Maybe once I've seen a speaker. Some of them have PA rebroadcast of their radio traffic, which, now that I think of it, there are a couple wreckers that I've seen where they rebroadcast their radio over a speaker in the light bar. But the bars that I've had generally don't have anything in the middle, and the speaker grill is definitely turned around, even if it does have the normal components in it. So this is an interesting bar. I'm glad I've got it back to what it's theoretically supposed to look like. I hope it's mostly factory. I think it's pretty close. And if it was added on, it was added on at the time that the tow truck was built by the tow truck company, just based on the level of professional build quality that is found in it. So, did Whelen make a wrecker bar in the 8000 series? No. Did the options exist for someone to make one? Yes. And do wrecker builders commonly make wrecker bars? Still, yes. And back when this was made, definitely also yes. So, wrecker style 8000 series Whelen strobe bar. Thanks for watching.